Hello everybody, welcome back to the Black Sky Ranch. My name is Leo. Today we're going to do a video on the TAC 14 20 gauge. What is it good for? I wanted to find out for myself whether this new category of firearms, the short barreled shotguns with no stock, had any practical use as an emergency survival tool. So we're going to do some shooting with it. This is the one I've got. It's 20 gauge, like I said, but how I've modified it was I added a sling. The Remingtons don't come with sling swivels, so I had to add the sling swivels in the sling. And you notice I tape up all the metal on it, on the slings, so it doesn't clack against anything. Same with this hillbilly rag on the fore end. That's just to keep the sling swivel from banging against the barrel in the stock. I added this hand strap on the fore end to keep your hand in place, just paracord with some tape on it. When you shoot the heavier recoiling ammunition, it does come back pretty hard on your forehand. So I put that on there. I added a steel magazine follower. It comes with a plastic one, high-vis one, but I don't trust the plastic. If you looked at my video on my 20 gauge defensive shotgun that I made 9 years ago, did the same thing. I'm just worried that plastic will deteriorate with time and crack and jam everything and just fall out. Also added a side saddle by Tac. I know they got cheaper ones on Amazon, but I went for the little bit more expensive one. I'm not sure about it yet, how well it's going to work. I'm just trying it out. I've only have like maybe 50 rounds through this shotgun so far, but you've probably seen them. They're the ones you can take off and put back on. So when it runs out, you can grab another one, slap that one on. But just a good way to carry extra ammunition. So this holds 4 in the magazine and then 7 on the side saddle. And if you have another one, that makes 18 rounds. So that would be your package for carrying on the four-wheeler or on your boat or Jeep or whatever when you're going into the backcountry. So a few specs. This thing empty, but with all the stuff I added, is 5 pounds 6 ounces. When you add the 4 rounds in the magazine and 7 on the side, it comes out to 6 pounds 4 ounces, and if you add that other 7 rounds, it comes out with just a little under 7 pounds. So, you know, not terribly light, but it's manageable, especially if you're using a four-wheeler or carrying it on some other kind of conveyance. Maybe even depends on how heavy you want to pack. You could actually use this as a backpack gun if you felt you were going to need an emergency survival tool of this type, like hiking in bear country or whatever. So what I want to do is prove to myself whether it's viable. I'm going to shoot 4 different kinds of ammo, some birdshot, some buckshot, some slugs at targets at 15 and 25 yards, and just see can you hit with it, and is the pattern dense enough to be effective at those ranges. So we'll go to the range and we'll try it out. And not advocating it for anybody else, I'm just trying to prove to myself whether it's going to be viable, and just going to bring you guys along. Well, it was so windy outside, it was really messing with the audio. Apologize for that. See if we can edit it out, but I moved inside out of the wind. I wanted to talk a little bit about the ammunition. So the 3 types, as I said, was going to be birdshot, buckshot, and slugs. I have 2 different varieties of birdshot. Number 6s is what I use for small game hunting. I've always used number 6s. It's just a good all-around size. Maybe a little too big, heavy for garden fairies and doves maybe, and a little too light for some of the bigger stuff like ducks and geese. But for an all-around, if you had to pick one, 6s is what I go with. So we're going to be using these 1 ounce number 6 shot, these old Winchester duck and pheasant loads. And I'm also going to use some 4s because I have a bunch of 4s. If you're in a territory where you've got more of the heavier stuff, more likely to be shooting ducks, geese, turkeys, woodchucks, 4s would probably be a good choice. So these are, again, these are Remington number 4, 1 ounce. It says 1,220 feet per second. And we'll see how those pattern. Next, we're going to be using this buckshot. This is Winchester 2 3/4 inch number 3. There's 20 pellets in here, and they claim they're going to be going around 1,200 feet per second. And the slug is pretty generic. Winchester 2 3/4 inch 3/4 ounce rifle slug. The other thing I wanted to talk about was the way I have this set up. You might have noticed that some of them are facing one way and some are facing the other. I always just put the slugs facing down, just so I know, I can tell by feel where the slugs are. And another note is these are 3-inch buckshot, the ones in the middle here. I went online and I did not see anybody selling any 3-inch shells in buckshot anymore. But just to note, this magazine only holds 3 3-inch shells, where it holds 4 of the 2 3/4. If that's important to you, stay away from the 3-inchers. And that's it for that. Thanks. All right, 15 yards, number 6 shot. If I don't get a killing pattern at 15 yards, there's no sense trying 25. Let's move to 15. Crap, I forgot my earplugs. Stand by. Alright, let's try this again. That would have been a surprise, shooting without earplugs. This is the Forest Service area. It's not as trashed as much as some of these public areas are, but it's not that neat. Alright, number 6. And the little dog. Number 4 and the turkey. That was a low. That was me. Let's take a quick look. Yeah, that had been a dead turkey. I shot low. We'll go to try this one at 25 yards. We'll go with the turkey again. It's probably a little more than 25, but that's all right. And the prairie dog, definitely just deader. So number 4, number 6, 15 yards, good. Number 6, prairie dog, 25 yards. Might have been low as well. Number 4's turkey. Okay, take a look. Not great, but it would have killed him. Same as this guy.
I'm saying 25 yards, not bad for small game. I shot the same one twice. Got to do a redo. On that one. Number 6, 25 yards, prairie dog. That's buckshot. That's slugs. Yep, that's a good one. Another shots in the head. So 25 yards, small game, good. I'm going to shoot this baby with the number 4s again. I definitely hit low on this. I want to get a better idea what the pattern is. Okay, here's a redo on the turkey with number 4s at 25 yards. Just don't think I got a very good shot on it last time. Okay, check it out. It's a little thin at 25 with the number 4s. All right. I'm going to do buckshot at 15 and 25. Huh. One in the head, one there, and it spreads out quite a bit. Now that actually did better at 25 for some reason. Between the eyes, and then these lower ones would have gone in the chest or neck of an animal that size. Must have just been way off on this one or something. I think these here would have probably been okay. Again, into the chest. Yeah, alright, we'll call it usable for number 3 buckshot, 15 and 25 yards, dangerous critters. Okay, I know what it looks like, but relax, it's a bear. I'm going to try it at 15 yards with slugs, and then I'm going to step forward to 10 yards with slugs, with a slug. See if I can hit a charging golden bear. Well then, I'd say that's not bad. Not bad at all. Alright, I'm going to try a couple of buckshot. Same distances, just for grins. Number 3 buckshot, 15 yards. Ten yards. Buckshot in the heart. Yeah, not really loving that buckshot. That's a killer, but it's pretty spread out, and they're not that big. Number 3 buck isn't that big. Anyway, you decide. Trying to figure out if this number 3 buck 20 pellets is good for anything. Didn't work. Didn't show much promise as a game getter at 15 and 25 yards. I'm thinking it may be useful for close range self-defense. So I'm at 8 yards here. Let's see what kind of pattern we get with the number 3 buck. Well, there's the wad. Alright. So I marked the holes that were already in there with the black X. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4. Those wouldn't do much good. These peripheral, a lot of peripheral hits, but there's 1, 2, 3, 4. So yeah, maybe coyotes at 8 yards. I wouldn't want to try to stop anything too dangerous. I'm curious what these number 4s will do on that turkey target at 30 yards. And while I'm at it, I'll shoot one on the turkey, and then I'll see about cleaning up that clay against that log, which is going to be, I don't know, 45 yards maybe. Let's give her a try. And put that one high. And let's see what we did with the turkey. Anything beyond 30 yards is would just be luck, I think. We're getting a good dense pattern enough to kill a small critter. But if I was starving and I needed to eat a turkey, 30 yards, number 4s would do it. 3 in the kill zone. Nice. Alright, now I'm just going to pick up all my shells and head on home. Well, we finished up the shooting part of the video, and I apologize for the quality. That's the first that I've used an action cam for that sort of thing. Wasn't really familiar with it. Noticed that a lot of the targets, when we examined the targets after shooting, that they were either out of frame or the bullet holes, the pellet holes weren't really visible. We'll do better next time. I did prove to myself that I could make killing hits on game at those distances. I might not have proved it to y'all, but you know, hopefully I did. A few notes about this, using this gun for this purpose.
I looked at the Colorado state regulations for game, and they specifically don't address this short-barreled weapon that's considered by the federal government as a firearm, not a shotgun. So they don't address that in the game laws, but they do have rules for the shotgun that has to have at least an 18-inch barrel. So I would think a game warden would probably consider this a shotgun if you're using it to take game, and consider it illegal. So unless you're using it for an emergency, I would not go hunting with this thing in Colorado. So check your own laws. Also, a lot of people put laser sights on these to make it so they don't have to hold it at eye level to shoot. They can just look to where the laser is shining and line it up that way. Colorado says you can't use artificial light as an aid to taking game, so I would think that's out. Although a red dot sight, which doesn't project any light, you just line up the red dot, should be okay. Another thing they don't allow is using buckshot in Colorado for big game. So for this, you could use buckshot for coyotes and smaller stuff like that, but for deer, elk, bear, it's not legal. So again, in an emergency to protect yourself, it's fine, but as far as hunting, it's not. The other issue is that if you are going to carry something like this on your snowmobile, ATV, UTV, things like that, in Colorado it has to be fully encased and unloaded. It isn't a big deal, it's just an emergency piece of gear that you have stowed on there anyway. But just so you know, so check your local laws. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the loadout. So with the cards, the 2 cards comes to 14 rounds. That's probably enough for an emergency tool. So a mix of birdshot, buckshot, slugs, whatever you feel is appropriate for your area would probably be fine. And you could put some extra rounds in your backpack or whatever if you needed to, but I think that makes a good little setup. Another thing too is because of the laws, game laws, if they're like where you're at, like in Colorado, just know that you can actually get an 18-inch barrel shotgun with a pistol grip that, because of the way the grip comes up from here, actually is the same length or maybe just an inch longer than this. So that's a choice as well. That's one of the reasons it uses the Raptor grip that comes all the way out to here, is so that it'll make that 26 plus overall length. So you can get an 18-inch barrel and 26 plus overall length, and not have to worry about any of the funky laws. I will say though that firing that type of pistol grip in a 12 gauge is not any fun. It really torques your wrist. This one probably not as bad, the Raptor grip, but anyway. I think that's all I've got. Hope you enjoyed it. Leave comments if you have any, and we'll see you next time.